We're focusing on border security now. Chris Cabrera is with the local union for the Border Patrol office, and we welcome Chris back to 710 KURV. Chris, we heard recently from folks that are in the business of benevolence. For example, the Salvation Army told us that folks in downtown McAllen are seeing an increase in illegal immigrants that are being dropped off by the feds. What can you tell us about the numbers that you're seeing right now as compared to, let's say this time last year?
Well, the numbers this year are not as high as they were last year. However, it's still an increase in what we normally see. If you compare them to any other year, it's still a jump. It's just hard to compare against last year because it was such a massive influx.
Is it a seasonal jump? Do we expect this jump every summer?
Usually the seasonal influx comes early spring. Mm-hmm. Usually this time of the year, it's starting to die down and settle in for the year. So it's definitely something to be concerned about.
If you could give me a ballpark figure, where are we? Are we at about 50% of where we were last year during the high water mark?
Yeah, I would say probably 50 to 60% of where we were. I think it's hard to compare to last year because, better than bad is still not good.
These family detention centers, some of them that we've been hearing are highly criticized by some individuals. Those detention centers are a result of what happened last year. They set up these centers to try to receive these women and kids and process them and I guess give them a chance to get their court hearing or get deported. I'm not sure which one of the two it is. But you're able to meet the demand. This is where I'm going with the question. You're able to meet the demand of housing these individuals before deportation at the moment, right?
Yeah, right now we're set up a little better than we were last year. Actually, much better than we were last year. I think the big issue we're having now is the manpower. We just need to flex the people in as necessary to handle what we got coming in.
One thing that we heard from some folks that are in the benevolence work is that folks that are being released now by the feds they do not have an assigned place to go. In other words, their family and friends have not been contacted. They don't know where they're necessarily going. That's now falling on folks that are in the benevolence work to help them find a place to go. Was there a change in how we handle these folks?
I haven't heard that, but that is definitely something to be concerned about. If we don't know where they're going, where do we know where to start looking?
In the end, before they're released to the bus station or released in downtown McAllen, who's handling these folks before they're released? Do you know?
Well, it depends. Sometimes it's the actual Border Patrol. Sometimes it goes over to ICE or immigration removal. It depends on what the workload is. It varies from day to day.
Was there a change in policy that you're now having to adhere to? A more lenient change in policy? No?
No change in policy. I think the problem we've always had is the unwillingness to enforce the laws that are on the books, and that just seems to be the issue.
Is a union representative for the RGV Border Patrol, Chris Cabrera, joining us on 710 KURV.
Chris, Tim Sullivan here. So you're losing your sector chief, Kevin Oakes, recently announcing his retirement. Any thoughts on the work of former Chief Oakes, and what would you like to see with his successor?
Well, Mr. Oakes, he was a good chief. We worked well with him, and it's difficult to see him go. We always had a good working relationship with the union. We didn't always agree on everything, but we had a good working relationship. So it's kind of tough to see him go, and we're concerned that we may get somebody better, but we may not. It's just always a crapshoot when a new chief comes in. But he did a great job, and I guess he felt it was time to hang it up, and we wish him the best of luck.
On another topic too, there was a recent call for the need for more internal inspections within the Customs and Border Protection Agency, which of course oversees the Border Patrol. And there have been a lot of news stories written of late about a lack of internal inspections related to a number of Border Patrol agent involved shootings over the past several years. Those investigations not getting resolved. Why is that? What's the problem? What needs to be fixed there?
Well, I think what they need to do is they need to go back to the drawing board and look at the training, the hiring process, and how these folks do their job. If there's a failure in any system and you throw just plain numbers at it, now you're going to have more people who aren't trained the way they need to be trained. So I don't think I think 350 agents is not necessarily a bad thing. I think that could work, but I think you need to address the problem at the root and fix whatever issues they're having, and then you add the manpower to make sure they're trained properly.
How is Border Patrol and DPS or other state officials, how are you folks coordinating with the new enhanced focus by the state of Texas when it comes to border security and sending more DPS down here? Is it a smooth transition?
I believe so. You know, it's good to see Texas stepping in and doing what the federal government wants. It would be nice to see the federal government follow Texas' lead and move to secure the border. We're having issues all the time, and it's good to see DPS coming in here.
What is the state role as you see it, Chris? Are you siphoning off to them, shoveling to them a certain amount of work? Let's say some drug runners are coming in and you're calling DPS, hey, take them on this road, they're coming to you, type of thing. Are you coordinating with them?
We've always worked well with them in situations like that. Unfortunately, the radio systems we have don't allow for too much of it. They're just filling in gaps where we're not. Manpower issues, even just the plain visibility of them out there on the highways or on the river is a great deterrent.
I thought the unified radio system was something that needed to be resolved some time back. We still lack coordination between state and feds.
Yeah, it's not just the radio system as far as being able to talk to one another with bandwidth. It's just that the radios are just terrible in general. You got areas where, you're 50, 100 yards away from your partner and you can't talk to them over the radio because it's just not a good system. I mean, you're better off yelling at times.
Wow. Chris, thanks for your time. Chris Cabrera, Union Representative, RGV Border Patrol, our guest on 710 KURV.